Let's get this show on the road. You're listening to the Redefining Wealth podcast with Patrice Washington, and I'm so excited to be back with you for another really great episode because for the last several weeks, since entering the month of March, I have been calling the Everything Must Go season. And baby, we have had some great conversations over in the Redefining Wealth app. If you have not downloaded the app on your iOS or Android device, I have no idea what you're waiting for. I go live every single day. Don't always know the time. It's spirit led, but I do go live every day with wisdom, some coaching, some Q&A in order to be a blessing to this community. And I think one of the things that anyone who's in the app would say is what I illustrate and demonstrate is just because you feel like you are born with purpose, on purpose, for purpose, fully operating from purpose on a daily basis does not mean it is all rainbows and unicorn and sunshine. If you are in the process of redefining wealth, this never ending journey, which is beautiful, it's a beautiful way to look at life and make sure that you are always in alignment with who you are now, not what you desired in past seasons, not who you were known as, not the labels that have been put on you for many years and decades before, but always staying true to who you are in that moment. That means some growth is going to be necessary. And in our work pillar, especially, I don't know about you, but as an entrepreneur, growth in the work pillar is a never ending journey. So let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how when we say we want something new, a new opportunity, new clients, a fresh start, sometimes we still tend to cling to the old because it's familiar. We just refuse to let go. We hold on to outdated ideas. This is how I always did it. This is what I did to win in previous seasons. We may hold on to unnecessary tasks because this is how it's always been, or even relationships and partnerships that no longer serve us. And then we wonder why we feel stuck. And the truth is, every single thing you hold on to mentally, emotionally, physically takes up space. And when that space is occupied by the things that don't align with where you're going, there's no room for what you're saying you actually want now. So, if we want growth in our business, we may have to let go of some of the things that have stunted our growth in this season. So, today we're talking about how to recognize what needs to go in your work and business so you can finally create the space for what truly is meant for you right now. Because let me tell you, your next level, it is waiting for you. It is desperately waiting for you. Remember soul detox? Your soul is exhausted from being ignored. Your soul, your work, the people you are called to serve are waiting for you to release what no longer fits. So, after the affirmation of the week, we are going to dive in to what I've been doing in this everything must go season and what may be a blessing to you as well. This week's affirmation is every time I release, I receive better. I release what no longer serves my vision, making space for what truly aligns. I trust that letting go is not loss, but an invitation to greater abundance. I am not meant to do everything. I am meant to do what matters most. Delegation is a power move, and I embrace support and ease with confidence. I create flow, not friction, and I welcome clarity, peace, and prosperity in my business, in my life, in this season. Declare with me today every time I release, I receive better. All right, so let's get into some of this everything must go season. Let me first say there is not a business out there that has never been, I believe, no matter how big the business is, there's never been a business out there that has not gotten to a place where it recognized that if it didn't let go of some things, it was not going to continue to grow. And many times, I believe the people who let go sooner, quicker, faster are the ones who survive and thrive. And the ones that continue to hold on and hope and wish and pray, but they don't make any changes that they are fully committed to, are the ones that we see having the everything must go sale. Now, I think that Many of us go through everything must go seasons. Some of us, when we delay, when we tarry, we end up being the ones, when we think about just businesses, that go bankrupt, where we start to not just sell the inventory so that we can shift into something new. We are the ones, who are selling the fixtures, the trash cans, the hooks in the store. We are selling everything because we waited too late to embrace this. You get to choose where on the everything must go spectrum you want to be. I recently took Reagan, my daughter, to Party City. As many of you know, she had her commitment day, her signing day for her athletic scholarship. And I wanted to have balloons and all this decor at her table at her school for signing day. And so we went to Party City a few nights before, and they were having an everything must go sale. Nobody told me. I said, oh my goodness. Well, where will I get my balloons now? I had to blow up my own balloons. Um, I said, oh my goodness, but they had everything must go signs all over our local Party City. That was in February. And it really got me thinking about whether I want to be proactive about the things that must go in this season. And I've had this conversation with myself, with my coach, with my team over and over again. I have released team members, I have released full lines of business, I have released processes, platforms, softwares that no longer served us in this season. And every time I go through a release, better is and has been available, because most of the time we're avoiding the release because we want to stick to what's familiar. But many times what is best for us cannot even show itself yet, because we are so stuck on what we've always known and what we've always seen. And so let me give you some ideas of things that I have been releasing in my work pillar, in the hopes that it will give you something to think about if you're in this space as well. Number one, I recently made a choice to let go of outdated contacts and CRM clutter. That is our client retention software. And for years, I have been frustrated with the lack of reporting in my current CRM, with the email deliverability. We've had a lot of glitches. Sometimes I've gone live at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I have literally received an email at 10 p.m. Eastern saying, hey guys, I'm live. And I'm on the plane already. I'm already on my flight. My live was several hours ago, ended 3 hours ago. And it was just a constant thing. And this falls in line with what I've been saying for the last several months, which is if I don't love it, I don't want it. And so I've been saying that if I don't love it, I don't want it. But then holding on to this CRM as if it's been the only choice on the market. See, sometimes we get so comfortable because, oh my goodness, all my contacts are there, all the email addresses. We've built up so much in this CRM over the last 6 years. And yet my soul has been saying, but better is available. Maybe that was the best or the most comfortable you were, used to using in that season, but the season is up. And then it got me to poking around and looking around, and I realized, wait a minute, email deliverability is also connected to how engaged people are. So I went in the CRM and I said, who hasn't opened an email from me in 6 months? 13,000 contacts. Now, for some people who are more committed to appearances and the vanity metrics, and it sounds better to say, oh, we have about 30,000 contacts or so, I was not. I was like, I don't want to hold on to these people just in case they open one day. I want to make room for the people that are so sold out for redefining wealth, for Patrice Washington, for this like-hearted community. And if I keep saying that I want a certain caliber of client and audience member right now, I have to release the ones that, for whatever reason, it's no love lost. It's not that I dislike people. I wasn't looking at individual contact names, none of that. It's just the energy and the clutter associated with holding on to essentially dead contacts, dead leads, right? Holding on to unnecessary data that only creates mental and operational clutter, digital clutter for my team and I. Why sift through on a regular basis 13,000 contacts that are not aligned in this season for whatever reason? So I made the choice in this everything must go season to literally let it go. So that's one area that I think is often not talked about or thought about. But is there anything that represents like stale energy, any old contacts, any old products, even anything that just doesn't feel good? Are you willing to let it go? This is where we talk about in the Institute for Redefining Wealth often being willing to lose. Doesn't mean that you will, doesn't mean that you have to, but are you willing to detach in order to actually have what you say you want? So that's the first one. The second one, I've said this many times and I'll probably say it every year as long as this podcast exists. And then after that, releasing team members who do not align. There is such an emotional weight of keeping people on your team out of guilt, even when it's clear they're not the right fit. My dating life has taught me so much about who I want to be in my professional leadership role. You've heard me say before that I believe that dating is simply collecting data. Do I like this? Is this aligned with what I need, want, and desire? If it's not, I didn't ask the person to marry me. I didn't ask them to get married. I literally got to see how they loved and decided if I wanted to participate or not. And then I made the bold, brave choice to just go ahead and release it because it was not for me. And there's no need to try to force something to be. In the same way, I have been learning to do that with team members sooner, quicker, faster. You've heard me say this multiple times, and it is constantly a practice that I have to keep coming back to. And I really feel my muscle growing in this way. Maybe it's the 44-year-old in me. I don't know. But I feel my muscle growing in this way that I can like people personally and they not be a good fit professionally. And we have to be radically honest about fit. Every person is just not meant to be on the team. Some people you can train up and train into a certain role. And then there comes a time when you just have to be honest that they are not a fit and they don't have what you're looking for. Right. And if you find yourself having to constantly make excuses, cover up, step in, do the job, train them in 15 different languages in 17 different ways, it is costing you more time, more energy, more emotional bandwidth that needs to actually be put into working on your business. And the sooner you transition them out, the sooner you make space for someone that is more aligned. You have to be willing to let go in this everything must go season. It doesn't make you mean, it doesn't make you callous, it makes you a business person. It makes you someone who wants to be here for the long run because you know what your purpose is and you know who you're called to serve and you know how you are called to show up. And engaging in any of this back and forth that does not honor you, but also doesn't honor them because they should be using their genuine gifts and talents in a place that is better suited for what they have to offer. And so you holding on to them keeps them from that. And it also keeps your business stuck and stagnant. And speaking of that, I believe in this everything must go season. What it did for me, being radically honest about if someone was just not a fit, sometimes it's not their skill set, sometimes it's their disposition. I recently recorded an episode about not being willing to tolerate a spirit of confusion or anyone who cannot take ownership, who cannot take accountability for when they fall off or something gets missed. I'm not a tyrant. I don't mind if things, I don't want things to get missed, but I'm also not in the season of, oh, well, that's good enough. And I think that when someone is on your team and they're representing you, even if something does get missed, at the minimum, they need to acknowledge it, not run from it, not hide from it, and not try to throw other people under the bus. And I understand how frustrating it could be, especially when you're first building a team, that if this happens multiple times, and you have to release people, or it's not working out, or you've been trying to force something, you start to go, oh my gosh, I might as well just do it myself. Entrepreneurial suicide. If you start to say, oh my goodness, I must just do it myself, you might as well kiss the business goodbye. You are going to burn out. There is no way for you to do all of the things. Get that organizational chart out, find one on Canva, find a template online, put your name in every role and see how crazy this looks. Each one of these roles is technically someone's job, responsibilities, duties, roles. And right now, if you are not willing to keep going to find the support you need, you are basically agreeing to have 5, 6, 7, 10 full-time jobs on top of just being yourself, the CEO, the visionary, the talent. We can't do it. Greatness is not created in isolation. And even though there are some things that must go that is not aligned in this season, don't allow that to make you pick up all the things that you really should not be doing, right? Because hustling harder and doing it all by yourself does not lead to greater success. It leads to burnout. Delegation is a form of leadership. Delegation is a form of self-care. Delegation takes discipline. It takes discipline not to dive in and do something on your own and allow people to support you. And when I was radically honest again about someone not being a good fit, and then in addition to that, I had an admin team member who was going on maternity leave. I did not want to try to pick up the pieces by myself and other team members. Most people on my team are 1099 contractors. And so I couldn't just do scope creep and keep assigning them things. I still needed to find support. And in walks Belay. And I'm so grateful for this partnership. Right now, we're in a 3-month partnership where they have introduced me to a virtual assistant, but they also have bookkeepers and marketing assistants that has freed up so much time and energy, right? And there is a clear difference in elevation that takes place when you outsource to people who enjoy doing that work, who are experts at doing that work. Just because we can, it doesn't mean that we should. There's a scripture that says everything that is permissible is not beneficial. And us taking on all of the tasks every time a team member leaves, just because we can, does not mean we should. If anything, what we could be doing is documenting in preparation for delegating. If you have not even had a team member yet, before even getting to building that team, I would encourage you to think about that organizational chart and all the things that you are doing and start documenting each piece. What are step 1, step 2, step 3? Record yourself, right? Maybe using the tool that we use, Loom. Record yourself on a Loom, doing the task, believing that this will eventually be handed off to someone else. I'm going to take the bold, courageous step to reach out to Belay even and hand this task off to someone else. Belay actually has a really great tool that they refer people to, which is a delegation checklist. I've been sharing it, but it is, if you text Patrice to 55123, you'll actually get the delegation checklist. And so it'll break down in this matrix all the tasks and what you should be doing and what you should actually release to someone else. But in this season, everything must go. And I'll link to that in the show notes. But again, it's text Patrice, Patrice, to 55123 to get that delegation matrix. And it'll be so helpful, right? But again, delegation is a form of leadership. It's a form of self-care. And it is truly about you understanding that in order to really have longevity, you have got to allow yourself to be supported. I think it's also an act of just self-love. I love myself and I know all the things that I need to do in the other pillars. I just, even in the wake of having switch ups and letting people who are not a good fit for me right now go, I still know I can't go it alone. So shout out to Belay for that. Now, here's another item in this everything must go season that you may want to consider. It might be releasing old offers and business models that just don't fit. Just because something worked before doesn't mean it's what's best for you now. And I think that when we hold on to outdated offers, we can block fresh, more aligned opportunities, right? And not every product you've ever sold was designed to last forever. Not every service you've ever offered was designed to last forever. Not every offer is meant to last forever. It is okay to retire some things. It is okay to sunset some things instead of getting frustrated. Now, if you've done the things to market and promote, and I really think that even when something's not aligned, it could be selling very well, but still energetically, you don't feel right offering it. It is draining you. It could be profitable and still be a drain on you. And I've done episodes before about sharing that I released $1 million line of business for us in 2023. And it was literally just from obedience, but it also brought about such clarity about who I was becoming and what I was being called to do when I wasn't so in the weeds of delivering something that had always been successful for us, but just did not feel good anymore. And so releasing that $1 million line created space for new, more aligned opportunities. The app has come, the Redefining Wealth app has come since releasing that. And Pillar Mastery was born from releasing that. The authentic alignment trainings were born from releasing that. Redefining Wealth Live was born from releasing that. There's so many things that, had I still been in that season, trying to hold on to something that didn't even feel good, I believe I could have missed the boat on what feels so aligned and so alive. I feel so energetic every time I go into the app to do my daily lives. Yeah, it doesn't even matter if I'm not feeling a perfect 10 that day, if I'm feeling like a 1.2, there's still something about serving in that way that energizes me and keeps me going. And that's where I need to be in this season, right? Doing Redefining Wealth Live. And if you haven't gotten your ticket, you should. Redefiningwealthlive.com. I'm so excited about that. But doing that event, and this is being the third year, and me now doing it in a way that feels really good to me, it lights me up. It energizes me. I'm having fun planning it in a way that I didn't have full fun when I was planning it in 2024 because it still felt like someone else's model and not how I would genuinely want to do it. And so even that, I had to be willing to release best practices from someone else because it was best practices for them, not for me, not for myself. So releasing that has unleashed a new energy and enthusiasm in me. And I'm seeing the benefits even as I just watch people register every single day. And I'll say the last thing in everything must go season is considering letting go of overcomplicated workflows and processes. Even with the podcast, I hope at the time that this is released, you're seeing me on YouTube because there's been a process that we've been doing when I switched back to audio, which felt good for me in that season. We were using a software that would just at least send the audio to YouTube. But the reality is, I had the video, even if it's just me sitting at my desk. I still feel like I'm so expressive and I have such energy. And I was like, in this idea that, oh, it would be easier to just do what we were doing. But the truth is, when my admin went on maternity leave, all hell broke loose because I didn't realize that in order to even just stream just the audio to YouTube, there were like 15 steps that had to happen every single week. And it was all this stuff. And I'm like, why are we doing all of that? I really value simplicity. I want my team to value simplicity. I want us to be able to do more with less. And when I had an opportunity to actually go through the process with her replacement for this season, I was like, "Oh, this is draining. It's inefficient. It's too many steps. The process is slowing things down, and I prefer to streamline how we operate so we can be more effective." I love that too. I love when I go live. I love streaming even to YouTube when I do my public lives every few weeks or so. And I'm like, you know what? We're just not going to make it hard. I'm just going to go ahead and record the podcast in a place like StreamYard, here I am, that allows me to share directly from here to YouTube. Why do we need to put this cover and change the cover every week? It's just too much. It's too much. So, anyway, I believe that when we're in everything must go season, it is an invitation to take inventory of everything that does not feel good, everything that does not feel aligned, everything that feels too complicated, and not really your vibe, not only to be a blessing to yourself, but also to the people who support you. Because when I release myself, I release others. Glennon Doyle says, when we liberate ourselves, we liberate the people we're in relationship with, and not just for myself, but also for my team. I just wanted to let go of anything that felt overcomplicated and unnecessary. So, as I've said before, alignment feels awkward because you have to keep trying and testing and tweaking. And I am all for that. I would say, as your business evolves, also understand one of the things that has to go is your ego. The idea that, oh my gosh, what are people going to say? What are they going to think? That you're finding yourself, that you're really aligning with what feels good for you. And my whole platform is really based on authenticity. And so maybe if yours is rooted in perfection, then this feels too awkward for you. But if you are someone who is also really looking to continue to build something that feels good, I never want to be, as Steve Harvey calls it, in a pretty prison. I don't want to be a prisoner to a pretty prison. I actually said I wouldn't be a prisoner to purpose. This was an episode from maybe 2022, where once you get to a certain place in your business, it feels like, oh, everyone is watching me. And so I have to keep doing all of these things, even when they don't feel good. Why would I keep building a business that doesn't feel good to me? Alignment takes time. Alignment takes undoing some stuff. Clarity comes in the doing. And as long as you keep doing, then you keep growing, you keep evolving, you keep refining, you keep redefining, and you keep coming home to yourself, to your purpose, and to the community that you serve. And that is what is happening here. So, yeah, hopefully you can see this video on YouTube at this point. But if you can't, just know it's coming soon. But I'm really grateful for everything must go season. I believe that I'm leaving March after Soul Detox and all of the conversations we've had in the Redefining Wealth app. I'm leaving lighter. I remember I did an episode called This is My Weightless Season. Yes, I'm leaving with less weight, but I also believe that I will wait less, that the things that I desire will be accelerated because I went first and I was willing to let go. What are you willing to let go of in this everything must go season to truly have the purpose, the work, the career that you desire? Please drop some comments. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Of course, come into the Redefining Wealth app and share what your takeaways were. I would love to know. And if you were able to see this on YouTube, give your girl a holler and tell me if I should keep it going. And if you weren't, but you want to, you can also say that in the chat because that'll help me get it together sooner, quicker, faster. But other than that, thank you guys so much. Check out the Redefining Wealth live.com page. We have a small number of tickets for the hybrid version of check out the page for Redefining Wealth Live. See if it's the place for you to be September 12th through 14th. I would love to have you here. I would love for us to go deeper and grow together on this journey of redefining wealth. And as always, come into the Redefining Wealth app. I go live every single day and we have such a great time. Until next week, I want you to go live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and earn more without ever feeling like you have to chase money. I'll